Laura, come out here too. You'll count.
Yeah, I know.
No, outside now. Okay, next to me. You're starting. Yeah, you count.
Laura, come over here. Did you already get in?
No, she didn't get in.
Laura, get in over here.
You count.
Okay, so there I was on the beach in Maui, a nice summer day, the waves chasing after me as I ran in the opposite direction, when suddenly I did not feel good. My head started throbbing and I had an uncomfortable pain in my stomach. It was terrible. That night we were in Maui and we had a luau scheduled. Food did not sound appealing at all. We got to the luau and I had one bite of pulled pork sandwich and half a Mai Tai. About 30 seconds later, I was up and running, covering my mouth, looking for the nearest bush. After, what was it that made me so sick? It wasn't motion sickness. It wasn't morning sickness. It wasn't influenza, which is actually a respiratory disease or respiratory illness. It was gastroenteritis, viral gastroenteritis. Today we're going to discuss what exactly viral gastroenteritis is. We're going to look at how to prevent yourself from getting it, and we're going to discuss treatment. I got most of my information from the CDC, or Center for Disease and Control Prevention, and the U.S. Food and Drug Administration. Let's start by discussing what viral gastroenteritis is. Gastroenteritis is basically the swelling or inflammation of your small intestines, large intestines, or inner lining of the stomach. Viral just means that it's caused by a virus. The two main viruses that cause gastroenteritis are rotavirus and norovirus. There is now a vaccine for the rotavirus, which according to the CDC, or the Center for Disease for Control and Prevention, has eliminated over 200,000 hospitalizations a year since introduced in 2006. The norovirus, however, is still responsible for 21 million illnesses every year in the U.S. alone. The two symptoms of the stomach flu, which is also what gastroenteritis is diarrhea and vomiting. Some other symptoms can be abdominal cramps, fevers, chills, fatigue. The symptoms can last anywhere from 1 to 5 days, and usually you get it 24 to 48 hours after exposure to the virus. Now that we have discussed what viral gastroenteritis is and the symptoms that come along with it, let's look at how to prevent ourselves from getting it. Now, if you have a 3-year-old running around throwing up, you're probably likely to get it just because it's contracted from person to person. So if you stay in a bubble, you should be good. That's not reality. There is no way to stay 100% safe, especially when traveling, living in the barracks, or working in daycares. There are some key things to mitigate your risk. Ensure that you're washing your hands and washing your hands frequently. That's one of the major ways that this is spread. Also, when your children or other people are touching everything in sight after they've been throwing up and they're sick, you need to ensure that you are disinfecting those areas. According to the FDA, another major factor in eliminating the spread of viral gastroenteritis is food handling. So ensure that if you're sick, you're not preparing anybody's foods. And when you are cooking, you are ensuring that everything's cooked at the proper temperature and it's fully cooked. Now that we know some ways to prevent viral gastroenteritis, let's discuss the treatment. Once you have the symptoms of the stomach flu, it should clear up on its own in about 1 to 5 days. There's some things that you can remember that will help make this a little bit more tolerable. First, you can take Pepto-Bismol or Imodium for nausea and vomiting. And second, you can take aspirin for fevers and headaches. Second, you should remember to use BRAT when you're eating. This acronym stands for bananas, rice, apples, toast. Now, there's no way to ensure that you're not going to be throwing up or that you're not going to have diarrhea. However, these are a little bit easier on your stomach, and your trips to the porcelain throne will be a little more bearable. Lastly, you must stay hydrated. Drink plenty of water, juice, carbonated, decaffeinated beverages, and electrolytes. Avoid drinking alcohol and caffeine, as I learned on my trip to Hawaii. So, there's no quick fix for the stomach flu. Once you have it, you just have to let it run its course. But if you remember to stay hydrated, use the acronym BRAT, the symptoms should subside in about 3 days. Now, let's review. First, viral gastroenteritis is known as the stomach flu. It's extremely contagious and causes swelling in the lining of the stomach, small or large intestines. Symptoms generally last 1 to 5 days and include vomiting, diarrhea, abdominal pain, and headaches. Secondly, we went over prevention. We now know that it's extremely important to use hand hygiene and use it frequently. Avoid sharing food and drinks, especially when you're around others that are affected. This will help ensure that you do not get the virus. Lastly, we discussed treatment. This includes taking Pepto-Bismol or Imodium and improving your quality of life by using the BRAT diet and staying hydrated. Remember, when you're sick, you're extremely contagious. So do everyone a favor and stay home. The stomach flu or viral gastroenteritis strikes at the most inopportune times. Ugh, I think I'm going to be sick.